Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Orange
It is that time, your favorite time of the week. We're not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We've got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. Rock, Lindsay, Sutton, and Judy. We are the Iowa Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Broncos country, what's up, everyone? How you all doing? Kev, Dan, David, and Ayla here from Orange Weekly for Bourbon, Broncos, no BS. And if you can tell, after the season, I have filled my glass up quite heftily. So grab that drink, kick back, relax. Let's talk some Broncos. Season is now in the rearview mirror. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight, and then also start talking about looking forward, big picture stuff. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Centennial State Insurance Agency. Make sure you give them a call if you're looking for any kind of insurance. They're going to give you the best customer service you're going to get from anybody else. I can guarantee you that. 303-838-0554. Cool. Well, we got Team Visor. My Visor's not here yet, but Team Visor, Team Puff. Team Puffball, and then even further, Team I'm not going to pick a team.
I wear whatever I want.
So again, post your comments, post your questions. We got Robert in here. How you doing? Let's go. You know what? It is time. Let's go. Let's go Broncos 2021. Antonio, Elway did the right thing by stepping down as GM. So, I got to pull this one up here, though. My brother is wrong on all accounts. Thank you, Robert. And this is why we're inviting you on the fan appreciation episode next week, because I am the better brother. If you guys missed that, make sure you go check out last night's episode of Orange Weekly After Dark, and you can see what he's talking about. So, obviously, big news that nobody else really expected. John Elway didn't really step down from his position. He more like relinquished the GM position to focus on being the president of football operations, if you will. So with that, we are looking for a GM. So I want to hear everyone who's watching, post your comments. What do you think? And then David, start with you, man.
Well, Kevin, you were in the military. You know how this goes. He was kicked upstairs. Robert, we're excited. Yeah, Robert,
except he decided to kick himself upstairs. It wasn't like,
absolutely.
hate this guy, get rid of him.
He kicked himself upstairs. And, if you've got the power to do that in an organization, why wouldn't you? Especially if you're like, oh, man, this sucks. I'm getting all this flack for my draft picks. The teams aren't winning, and I'm getting some of the blame for that. And I'm tired of it, and I want to go focus on my golf swing and take a bigger role. Sorry, I wasn't in focus when I did that. Bigger role with the team by doing less somehow. So good for him. If you can do it, do it.
Reminds me of Office Space when he like gets a raise and does less, and he's like, "All right, Bob's like, I'm gonna do less now."
I mean, that's generally how it works in corporate America, anyway, isn't it? So,
I mean, I think that's like the point of going up in the company is to do less and have people under you that work harder. So
that's right. Should we start talking maybe about some candidates, because some candidates have already emerged for the position. Dave Ziegler of the Patriots, kind of the biggest name.
Champ Kelly from Bears.
Yes, and Champ Kelly.
Seems like they're talking names of people who have had Bronco pasts. There's another one. Oh God, where'd my note go? But yeah, so they're already bringing up people. Peyton Manning
shoot
won't
this one?
happen.
Gabe, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching. All our fans, glad you're here. Can we just shoot this one down right now, guys?
Yeah, because it's not going to happen.
We need to move past this idea.
Right. And for let's skip the fact that we have no idea what kind of GM Peyton Manning would be just because he was a really good quarterback. There's just no way to know. And I would not feel real comfortable giving him the job of GM straight out with no experience straight off the bat. And quite frankly, I don't think he'd be comfortable taking it without any kind of other experience in an NFL organization. So for both reasons, I don't think that's a realistic expectation at all. Should be really fun to think about. Can't blame Broncos country for wanting it, but
yeah, just here's my, I guess, conundrum or like what's going on. And again, I'm not trying to call any Broncos fans out or like beat them down or whatever the case is, but you have a lot of Broncos fans out there that are really upset that we have a quarterback with no experience. They're really upset that we got a head coach with no experience. But now they're wanting someone like Peyton Manning with no experience outside of being a quarterback to be the GM. And that's where I'm like, wait, but you don't like it when these guys have no experience. Why would you want this guy to come in and be the GM with no experience? So it just kind of confuses me a little bit,
What if he's bad?
And that's what that's it.
I mean, really.
So yeah, buddy, Manning, glad you're here. Manning isn't going to be a GM. He wants to be an owner. That's exactly the big thing. Daniel, how you doing? Glad you're here. And Jeremy as well says it is there it is. Hello, Broncos country. Yeah, so I wasn't sure what other names you had there, David.
We've also got George Patton, who is assistant GM for the Vikings, and has, obviously knows Gary Kubiak, has been kind of a name, interviewed for the Jets job before it went to Joe Douglas. Has been a guy out there who's been wanting, in that conversation to step up for a little while. So, the Broncos are going to successful teams with experienced people to do this job. It's not we're not trying to gamble on a young up and comer here. It looks like.
Yeah, and that's smart, and it's it's really early with it too. I'm sure it's gonna. I don't know how long they'll take with it, but it just happened. It's hot off the press, so the fact that there's names out there, it means that they were probably thinking about it already. And they've got work to do, so it'll be exciting. Hopefully, it'll be fresh for people. Hopefully, it'll get people off their back a little bit. Elway's back. I like him as in our organization. I don't want to see him going anywhere, and I don't think he will. He's just too big of a Broncos name. So
right. Well, and I'll tell you what, this puts the onus on Locke and Fangio in a much bigger way than it was. And I already know, next year was going to be a prove-it year in so many ways for both of those guys already. But now with a new GM coming in, if you guys don't show it right away, he's going to be looking for his own guys. He's going to be looking for reasons not to keep you so he can bring in the guys that he wants to do it. And so you've got to show him not halfway down the season, not 9 or 10 games in. You've got to start showing him from game one. You know what you're doing. You are ready to lead this team to a 10-plus win season, potentially the playoffs now, because there's no more time for you guys. This is it. The people watching aren't the people who put you in the positions that you're in now, and the loyalty is just not going to be there for them anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to Bear here. Bear, I'm glad you're watching. Welcome to the show, man. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to post them. Even if you're not a Broncos fan, that's okay. Plus, we are kind of funny, so in a way, we are jokesters.
Bear Dan Martinez. I like that name.
Especially Raymond. He's a jokester,
And he's got a great beard. I'm just really upset.
I'm trying. It's just not. I'm better than Jared, at least. So.
Well, everything is better than Jared. There's literally nothing. We're not going to get into the list of things that's better than Jared. Yeah.
Daniel, no, this is exactly what we're talking about, man. Vic's seat is very much on the, he is very much on the hot seat right now. I don't expect this GM to come in and change everything. Look, Drew Lock will be the starter next year. Coach Fangio will be the head coach. Pat Shurmur will be the offensive coordinator. Those things are not going to change. Now, what you're going to see is next year becomes even more important for all of these people, right? Because after the 2021 season, that's where you're going to see the new GM really get involved and start making some moves that he thinks is really, what is best for the organization. So next year, pretty minimal changes other than just a new name to the GM title. But after that, we'll see, guys. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red Cloud, Elway is moving up. Is he replacing Ellis? No, Ellis is not going anywhere. But I'm glad you brought him up because with all this talk, bringing in a fresh new GM, hopefully some new ideas, the fundamental problem still with the Broncos is we have no owners. And if you guys want to picture it this way, it's like a multi-billion-dollar organization loses the CEO, and instead of getting a new CEO, you have a bunch of middle management type of people trying to run this multi-billion-dollar organization. And that's exactly what's happening here. And so until that gets fixed, there's still going to be a lot of problems.
Yeah, and it's really a question of the team, like the philosophy, the organizational philosophy. There's no one top-down voice saying this is what we're going to do from now on. And, the day-to-day operations of the team still get done. Your team still is a team every year, but it's just, there's that lack of a driving philosophy that I think is hurting the Broncos.
Yeah. Ayla?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's all got to come together. It's like we're missing puzzle pieces or starting over often, and we'll see. Oh, Robert Shea. Of course he posed that one.
Robert, sorry, go ahead, Ayla.
No, it'll be interesting. A new GM, that's another thing that you're starting over with, and a lot of pressure on their shoulders for a team that needs to make some changes. So, an interesting season to look forward to.
Oh, for sure.
And we're at the longest part of the year. This is the hardest. It's like so far away.
Yeah.
So long till football again.
We're closer than we were yesterday.
It's true.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, my bad.
And we're closer now than we were 5 seconds ago. So you got to be the optimist. Like every second, second closer, right? Maybe that's just me. Let's see, Robert. I'm only going to mention this because it's you and you commented it. We are not going to talk about the Vaughn stuff. We are Bourbon Broncos and no BS. And that story has no weight. That's all we're going to go with that. It's not being reported by any reputable sources. It's crap.
It's just Instagram drama. Instagram drama. It's their business anyways. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, we won't go there.
Yeah, we're going to keep it on the field. Well, and in the front office.
In the front office.
Yeah. Try to stick to the no BS. Yeah.
Moving on. Let's shift gears a little bit. Antonio, how you doing? We need to get some secondary so we can transition a little bit into big picture off season. What do you guys think about? Yeah, we need to build up our secondary. Any ideas on how you would like to see us go about doing it?
It's a little early for me to start naming names as far as free agents and no, don't worry about it, Robert. Of course you're going to ask. Somebody
was going to ask, and so you know us that we're not judging you or anything.
Right? No,
I'm glad you asked and not somebody else.
Yeah, and Robert, I look forward to having you wearing the proper headgear next week.
Get that visor out, man.
No. That's not the kind of headgear I was talking about. Robert knows. Anyway, it's a little bit early for me to start naming names just because I'm lazy and tired, and I don't want to look up names right now. As far as free agents and during the draft, that's great, Kevin. That's very mature. But it's obviously going to be, I think, one of the biggest areas of need on this team. AJ Boye is a guy who came in and kind of underwhelmed. You didn't pay that much for him, so it's fine. But his cap hit's going to be north of $12 million next year, I think, or at least north of 11. So he may be one of the vets. Some names, like Jarrell Casey. Guys who were brought in this year, played, didn't work out for a reason A, B, or C, and have big cap hits next year. Just may not be guys who are going to be with us in our long-term plans. So we may be shedding more members of that secondary, as ridiculous as it sounds. As we think of this secondary as a walking wounded scenario already, where there's just not that many bodies available. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be guys who aren't going to be on this roster next year, and we've got to fill out those positions with better talent, cornerback especially, and especially if whoever is in charge of now re-signing Justin Simmons decides for whatever reason that's not a good idea. It's going to be a big rebuild challenge for somebody like Vic Fangio.
Yeah. Steve here, Ayla, I'm going to get your take on this. We need to find a run game next year. And now Melvin Gordon is going to be on a second year of the contract, but we're expecting him to probably miss the first 4-ish games of the season next year. Maybe more. We'll see. So what do you feel about us finding some running back talent, free agency or in the draft?
Well, I think
or David, yeah.
And I think we'll still have Royce Freeman, and he'll be healed up and ready to go, hopefully. So that's always good talent. I'm a Philip Lindsay fan, but this year was tough because I was like one of his biggest cheerleaders. And so, we'll see what happens with him and what the Broncos think about keeping him, giving him an offer, if somebody else gives him an offer. But yeah, Melvin Gordon, I thought he stepped up this year, and it was exciting to have him a part of our organization. It is unfortunate, his situation with the DUI, and I guess we'll have to watch that unfold. I don't know if it's mandatory 4 games at least, but yeah, we'll see.
Right. Yeah. And it probably will be once the legal process plays itself out there. So yeah, we're going to have to rely on, Philip Lindsay is a restricted free agent. So he's certainly got to be in the conversation, if not definitely in the plans. But if he's not going to be here, I would expect them to look for somebody else to bring in, a veteran or a rookie who they fall in love with in the draft process. There's a guy available every year in the 3rd or 4th round who just busts the league wide open in his rookie season. Yeah. You just don't have to pay that much for a premium guy at that position anymore. So, like I said, if they don't bring back Lindsay, especially, I expect them to upgrade that position a little bit. But you're right. It needs to be a little bit more consistent. I don't know that it was any more or less consistent than inconsistent than the rest of our offense this season. But yeah, it's one of those things that, like everything else on that side of the ball, needs to improve.
Well, it was just so disheartening with Lindsay's injuries, in and out, and because we really thought that we'd get the both of them playing every game. And so I don't think they got to execute the game plan that they had exactly in mind, bring Gordon on board. So, do they do a take 2 and give him another chance and try and make it happen again? Because, who else in the league? I mean, I know Lindsay's talented, but he's also not the biggest guy ever. And he got hurt a couple times this year. So, do other organizations take that into factor and just not want him? And then we could, Shelby Harris the matter and just get him back, luckily. But I don't know. It's weird. It's going to be tough. And bringing in a rookie doesn't guarantee that's going to fill that, almost veteran running back does better out of the gun, because if they're going to have to play the first games anyways, we need somebody who's played NFL snaps, not just college.
Yeah. Hey, we got a ton of people here. You're awesome. Make sure if you can, make sure you're commenting, sharing. Daniel, I want to get your comment in here next about the 2021 schedule. Here's the thing about the offseason. Obviously, guys, there's just so many different things that we're going to be bouncing back and forth. So if I don't get your comment right away, bear with us. I see it. I'll try and get up there as soon as I can. But first, as you see it scrolling right underneath here, I'm on the left. Right there it is. Fan Appreciation Night. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be here, not necessarily just talking Broncos news, but more just to sit back, relax. You guys can ask us any kind of questions, like what goes on behind the curtain, or tell us a funny. Hey, we keep hearing this inside joke. What's that about? You might even dare Jared to do something silly, and he'll have to do it because he has to. We'll find a way to make him do it.
Because he can't back down from a dare.
He can't back down from a dare. Exactly. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff, and we're going to be giving away prizes. So we're going to have some longtime fans call in for about 5 minutes, have some fun with them up here on the stage, but just really interacting with you guys, because our motto here is Fans, Brews, and Broncos News. The reason Fans is number one is because we do this all for you guys. So make sure next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, you join us for Fan Appreciation Night. Grab some drinks and just join us for some good old fun. With that, let's go. Daniel, your comment here. Is it too early to talk about the 2021 schedule? No, it is not. At least to some degree. They did release the opponents we have, and I'm going to pull that up here for everybody. Let's see.
Well, home games.
What do you guys think? There you go.
That's different from what.
Nope, that's 2021. Man, it's
That's
like if I had
2020.
somebody being able to run the show for me, it would
I'm
be
like,
better.
that's not what I have pulled
You're
up.
right. You're right. Well, let's Ayla show it.
All right.
Technical
Home
problem.
games. Home games are usual. We've got Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. We'll play Bengals, Eagles, Ravens. The Washington football team and the Jets all will be in Denver, and then usual 3 away games included with the Browns, the Cowgirls, the Giants, the Steelers, and the Jaguars. So it should be, quote unquote, a little bit easier than this year. I think we had the toughest schedule out of anybody this year. I don't know if that's just me complaining about it, but I felt like our opponents this year, that was tough. So,
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Well, it's a 4th place schedule next year for us, so that'll be what it is. We also get the Lions in that week 17 or whatever, or week 18, I guess now it'll be in a site. It has yet to be determined. I don't know if they're going to plan to do that like an exhibition game or something like that where they have it at a neutral site. We'll see. But yeah, it's going to be that one note for Broncos fans. That's the next year is the start of that 17th regular season game.
yeah, so that'll be interesting how that plays out.
Yeah.
They haven't finalized that yet, have they? Because
Oh,
last
yeah?
I saw that the owners delayed that.
Nope. It's starting next year.
Okay. Okay. So I'm even learning something here on the show, guys. So there you go. Anyway, bottom line, I think we have a very good shot at doing well next year. You look at how we were doing beat up the way that we were this year. And you put us against opponents like we're going to face next year. I think our strength of schedule is going to be more of the on the easy side, minus us having to play the Chargers and the Chiefs twice a piece, right? So those are obviously, I think the divisional games are going to be more of the tough ones that we're going to have to deal with. So we'll see, I guess. But I'm optimistic. I'm like really, really optimistic looking at these teams we have to play. Like the Cowboys, we can beat the Cowboys. Teams like that. It just I'm excited for it. The Jets, we can beat the Jets.
Right. Yeah. We better beat the Jets.
We better.
Yeah.
Paula, excited to see Dallas versus Denver. My best friend is from is a Cowboys fan, and I said, "Man, it's got to suck knowing that you're going to lose as soon as the Broncos come into Dallas next year." So it's kind of depressing, I'm sure.
See, Jared and I made a bet, and we might as well tell you guys now.
Oh man, you're actually going to say it out loud. Okay,
yeah, I am going to tell the people. I'm going to tell the people. Who knows when, ladies and gentlemen? We may be doing it. We probably won't be doing it for fan appreciation. That's just too depressing. But Jared and I made a bet with a certain Cowboys fan who is related to Jared by marriage, who would have the better record in the regular season. We had some faith in our Broncos this season, and we're going to have to pay for it by wearing a Cowboys jersey on the show at some point in the future. So be prepared for that. It's going to be real awful. I expect you guys to be horrible to us about it because, frankly, we deserve it. I want your worst, and I expect you to give it to us.
Oh, God.
You might as well do it for the fan appreciation episode.
No, I can't.
There's going to be dares.
At this point, getting jerseys here in a week would be a little bit of a logistics because I'm not going to the mall to buy a $100 Cowboys jersey. I will not.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, we're going to have to figure out something else. Denver Broncos for life, Tim. It's going to be real hard, but I appreciate you guys sticking with us through this difficult patch in the
that's gonna be ugly. Literally, it's gonna be so ugly. Like, are you just borrowing the jersey? I mean, oh my God.
Listen, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to go over here. That's all.
Yeah, I try and steer clear of those bets because it's just that would be so hard for me.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd say no, screw you. I always stick to my bets and promises, but this one, no, screw you.
Lesson learned. Let's just put it that way.
Why'd you make me, take a bet when I was really drunk? That's on you, man. Like I would get out of it somehow.
Right.
Dan, how you doing, Dan? Yeah, Broncos usually for some reason tend to have a tougher schedule.
Yeah, they do.
But here's the thing. We were so beat. The reason we got fourth isn't because we just purely suck. It's because we were so absolutely beat up that we're starting people that are normally third stringers. I mean, people that are practice squad players are starting or at least playing second string. So it actually benefits us in some degree. We're going to be a really, really strong team next year playing these weaker opponents. And you never know what happens in the offseason. Every year things are different. Teams are, going to be surprises and be tougher than what they were in the previous year. But in general, looking across the board there, we're going to have a team that can beat pretty much any. Look, we're a team that could beat Kansas City when we're fully healthy and we're on our A game, Yeah. So I the way things stand right now, depending on how free agency and the draft turns out and whatnot, I can't look at them saying, I don't know if we can beat the Jets, man. When we get everybody else out there, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, full secondary is healthy. I don't know if we can do it. I can't say that. It's not realistic to think that way, Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my thoughts on it. Red Cloud, my two brothers are Cowboys and Raiders fans. Your brothers are stupid. Glad you're here, Raider. Red Cloud, glad you're here, man. Let's see. Can we say congrats to Peyton on making the Hall of Fame list so far? I mean,
it's shoe-in. Yeah,
it was gonna it's gonna happen sooner or later. It's nice to see him on the list now, but that was inevitable for sure. The man deserves it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. So a couple questions here. So before we get to free agency, Gendor, if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. I want to get your comment here in a second. There have been some comments about the draft, especially. Oh, Tim, wait. Tim, I want to know the answer to this. What do the Raiders and a vacuum cleaner have in common? Tim, I want to know this answer. What?
That suck. They suck.
Oh, they do suck. I'm halfway through this huge thing of whiskey. It's kind of.
But I'm also, and I got it.
And they're dirty to clean up. I don't know.
I'm trying to run all of this. Where's Matt tonight? Why is he not running the show for us?
Well, you have to ask Matt. I couldn't really answer that for you.
Stupid Canadians, right? If there's any other Canadians out here, you're fine. It's just Matt, the Canadian, that we have an announcement about him next week too in our fantasy league. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Comments here about should we draft Fields or even trade up for Lawrence? I want to you guys answer this one because I've answered this one several times and I'm kind of like a broken record at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I have too at this point. I think the short answer for all of us is if you find a way to pay if you find a way to get the Jacksonville Jaguars to give up the rights for Trevor Lawrence, you do it. Whatever you have to pay them for the number 1 overall pick, you do that. Short of that, don't move up for anybody. Stay where you are or move down in this draft. I don't
move down. Okay.
Yeah. If Fields falls to number 9, great. Then we have a conversation, but it's really not going to happen, guys. This is like the last good quarterback draft until at least 2022, preliminarily speaking, from what I'm reading right now. People are going to be trying to get their guy immediately. And if Fields shows out in the national championship game like he did in this last game against Clemson, that's it. There's no chance he's leaving the top 5. So yeah, that's my draft scenario is stand pat or trade down unless you find some way to get the Jaguars to let go of Trevor Lawrence.
And it's not happening.
No, there's no chance. 0.00.
Robert, you're right, man. I need to step it up. I will. I'll work on it. But that's the thing, though. Look, I put $10 down that the Broncos would get Lawrence or Fields because that bet would pay out tremendously. I mean, that's how long how much of a long shot those odds are, right? So, and it's not so much what are we willing to trade for that number 1 or number 2 pick. It's are the Jags or the Jets even willing to listen to anything? Like, why would they pass up on these prime opportunities? You don't really know what's going to happen in next year's draft. So why would you pass up this opportunity when your teams both desperately need a quarterback? So you could offer them, unless you offer them like the next 3 years first round picks, Von Miller, Cortland Sutton, Bradley Chubb, and they're like, even then they might be like, interesting. you're ridiculous. No thanks. We're gonna pass on that. You know what I mean?
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
you might get him to consider it for a hair of a second, but
they'd certainly laugh at your desperation before they said,
they're like, why haven't these teams made their pick yet? Like, they've had 10 minutes to decide and they're running out of time. It's because that entire time they're laughing at us. Like, wow, you guys are that desperate. Like, just that's where I think that's gonna go.
It's never gonna happen. They're not gonna be there, and it's not necessary.
Let's see. No is no love. Glad you're here, man. We'll give you some love. We love all our fans, which is why we're doing fan appreciation episode next week. Make sure you're there.
Absolutely.
So offensive line team.
Yeah.
Now, David, before you go, my thing is we don't have Juwan James, we don't have KC, so we don't have some big names on the offensive line. But what do you think, man?
It was another scenario where you had reserves playing all season at guard, at tackle. Lloyd Cushenberry was the one on the offensive line who played the most snaps. Then Garrett Bowles, who played obviously really well. Honestly, I know we're used to the offensive line being terrible and with good reason around here, but this year it was average. Honestly, it wasn't great. It wasn't top 5 or top 10, but it was average. And giving those guys another season together, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. For all the youth that we had to see on that line, like Muti, who had to play a lot this last week. I think they actually showed fairly well. So you're decently excited about the guys who we have there starting and reserve now. You just want to see your best starting 5 out there consistently from now on. That's the next goal.
Yeah.
Well, and I like Dalton Reisner steps up as a good leader. That guy has a great positive outlook. He's solid as can be. So I think we weren't as terrible as people thought that it could be. And Garrett Bowles should get a lot of credit too for stepping his game up literally and playing most games pretty cleanly. It was good on him.
Robert, if you could elaborate for us what you're seeing on your side, so we can see what's happening. Glad you're still here. Buddy, Matt Ryan should be a free agent this year. Okay, so now we get some quarterback talk, and I have seen some comments earlier. And again, guys, I'm trying to get your comments. If you don't see it pop up right away or go out of order, I apologize. We'll get to them. I'm trying to keep us on track as much as possible here. But yeah, so here's the discussion of do we go get a veteran quarterback? Who do we get? And what purpose will they serve starting the 2021 season?
Oh, there's going to be a lot of options for it this year, so it'll be interesting. I think it would be the smartest move to find a veteran that will help mentor Locke and keep it going if need be.
It's going to be tricky, honestly. It really is. There's guys like Marcus Mariota who are going to be there available. There's nobody immediately available that makes me via free agency that makes me go, this is a clear upgrade over Drew Lock. There are guys who are going to be available to compete with Drew Lock. You could probably get Gardner Minshew from the Jaguars. Nick Foles seems perennially available. Matthew Stafford, I don't think is a realistic option. His contract details, there are other factors there that I don't think make him a great fit. Obviously, if he was willing to come here, that would be a big time upgrade. But I would not expect to see Matthew Stafford in Denver next season. So outside of that,
I don't know if that would happen.
Right. There's just not a ton of great options that you make you think, this is an immediate upgrade to take this team to the next step now.
So hypothetical, because now we're in the offseason on the land of hypotheticals. And the one thing about that I hate about offseason, other than just waiting, is the amount of rumors, and it just gets so ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys see clickbait from those other pages, ignore it. Just wait for us to go live, which we'll still do during the offseason. We can talk about shit that's like actually true, or we can debunk rumors, but ignore that clickbait shit. Let's say we get Matt Stafford. Do we start him over Drew Lock?
Yeah.
I have my answer, but I want to hear you guys.
It's Matt Stafford.
Yeah, if you get Matt Stafford, you do. Yeah. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. There's.
Don't be sorry.
I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would see it clear as day in the preseason. You know, because we'll have that this year, and the competition would be just like, okay, well, I guess we get to.
Yeah, there's not a huge list of guys that answer is really a really quick yes for me, especially of the guys who are available or potentially available this season. Not a big list of guys who I would answer immediately yes, but I'm sorry, Matt Stafford's one.
I'm going to disagree.
Ooh.
I'm going to be the dissenting opinion here. We have waited this full season and you know the last part of the season before. So I'm going to agree with Daniel here. I want to see what we have in Drew Lock. Look, if we can bring Matt Stafford in as a backup, help him mentor and help Drew Lock improve. And look, either way, one way or the other, whoever we get, even if it's Matt Stafford, by halfway through next season, we will know. We will know if Drew Lock is the answer or not.
And I bring up the mentoring thing because it depends on the guy too. Because Joe Flacco wasn't about to mentor anybody.
Joe Flacco has.
It just depends on the human being's personality, and if they're just like a little bitter that they have to play behind somebody else and mentor them, or if they're just like, yeah, I'm going to back this guy up and I'm going to give him point. We're going to work together. We're going to just be a team together. It totally depends on the guy. So
sure.
And we don't know how we would react to it.
That's true. That's a fair point. Either way, I think we've put in too much time and energy to wait and see Drew Lock develop to just now say, we're just gonna go with Matt Stafford. Give Drew Lock the last chance of the full offseason, training camp, preseason. He has 8 games to show if he's the guy or not. 8 games. If we go 3-5 or worse in those first 8 games, Drew Lock's not the answer. Throw him in to start to finish out the season, save our season, try and make it to the playoffs, and then we're going to stick with Stafford from there on out. Okay, so you're right. I think the original premise is odds are we're not going to get Matt Stafford, but if we did, either way. Look, we've spent so much time and energy talking about let's see this guy develop that let's actually see if this guy is the guy for us moving forward. And now we have what is he going to be, 25 years old or something? These young whippersnappers out there on the field. I feel so old when they're like, yeah, he's fresh out of college. He's 24 years old. And I'm like, oh God. So anyway, that's my point is I would rather Drew Lock show that he's the guy and then we have him for the next 10 to 12 years versus – we start Matt Stafford, maybe he works, maybe he doesn't, and then I don't know. Anyway.
Well, and I'll tell you.
He could still mentor him if he wasn't starting. It's not like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. Of course I want Drew Lock to be our guy. I'm not giving up on him, but this is the hypothetical if we had Matt Stafford and
it's all hypothetical now.
Yeah, it would be hard to say that Drew Lock would be able to start over him.
Well, and that's the other thing. In this hypothetical, having Matt Stafford on your roster and having Drew Lock start games for you when Matt Stafford is available are mutually exclusive. Matt Stafford doesn't come to your team if he doesn't think he's going to be the starting quarterback because he will get an opportunity to start somewhere. So he's not going to come potentially be Drew Lock's backup. He's going to come here and start, or he's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So in that case, if you're whoever the new GM will be, because I'm so used to saying if you're John Elway, what are you going to do? But he's not going to really have much of a say. If you're the new GM, whoever that's going to be, do you go out there and really focus on trying to get Matt Stafford? And then I wouldn't say throw away Drew Lock. Like he's still there. He's the backup. He's learning. And then, if something happens, we have Drew Lock, which is a really good backup to say the least. But is it even worth it?
Probably not. Not probably worth what it's going to take to get him in a trade. Because again, you can't get him in free agency. You'd have to trade for him, and that's it. Right? And that's it's just not a great landscape out there this year, like we've all been saying, and that the comment agrees. It's just not a good landscape out there for getting a guy who will improve your team immediately.
That's true.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Look, so I mean, all this off season is where it is. It's really boring during a lot of times, and all of a sudden there's a lot of excitement, and then it becomes boring again. And then you're like, lots of excitement, and then it's gone. So what I'm getting with that is, guys, we're going to be here during the off season. It's not going to be every week, but we are going to be sending out content, articles, videos, podcasts throughout the off season, highlighting some of the important stuff like the pre-free agency, free agency, post-free agency, the combine, the draft. We did a live draft show last year. We're going to do that again this year. It's going to be good times. We're going to be doing Broncos trivia shows probably about once a month, so you can sit here and laugh how at Jared's still getting last place like he pretty much does all the time. I do not have that title yet, and I want to keep it that way. So lots of stuff here for you guys. Make sure you follow us, hit that like button, make sure you're following our actual Facebook page. And then, we still got some time here left that we're going to stick around, but everybody watching, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys. Thank you for being fans. Thank you for watching. That's why we're doing our fan appreciation show next week. We're going to be giving out prizes. We're going to have some of you guys hop on stage with us. We're maybe trying to work on getting Cody Rourke has watched our show several times, said he really likes it. So maybe we can have him up. We're working that. But either way, it's going to be a fun time for us to sit back, relax, bullshit for an hour and a half, however long, until our glasses are empty or something. But yeah, so seriously, thanks everybody who is watching, and we are not going to go away during the off season at all. Okay. I think we beat that quarterback horse dead. And there's going to be more talk about it as we get to free agency and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. There'll be more room. Yeah, this will not be the last time we have a conversation about the Denver Broncos quarterbacks this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Let's say that.
Interesting thing, the comments, and Zach, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. The comments seem very split. Comments seem, yes, stick with Drew Lock. He's the guy. I want to see him succeed. Other people are like, nope, bring in somebody else. I'm tired of these losing seasons. And I get it. I get the losing season problem. I hurt. I do. I promise you, I hurt. But it's interesting. Fans are, it seems, at least in these few comments we have, and it's a very small subset or, group here, but it's kind of split.
Well, and anybody who watched last week's show watched me sit on the fence on a number of Drew Lock related issues rather successfully, I thought. But the reason I think that it's so easy to do that, and while you're seeing that split that you were talking about, Kevin, is that when you're watching these games with Drew Lock, anybody who wants to see their bias confirmed can see it in any given game. Even in this Raiders game where he had over 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, you could point to plays where you just said, man, that's bad. That's fundamentally, his process was bad there. His execution was bad there. Even though you're seeing less of those plays every week, I think, and you are seeing true progression from him as a player, there's still plenty of that stuff where when it's bad, it's really, really bad. Even if he's not throwing interceptions, he's just not doing the right things on some plays. And it's looking like he's a really, really young quarterback, which is what he is. So it's just everybody who wants to see what they came to see in these games can see it in Drew Lock. And it makes it harder going into the offseason because you just don't have a declarative, he did really, really great, or he did really, really bad.
Yeah, and that does make it hard to, for a lot of people to jump on board with him and support him 100% because, it's easy to focus on the bad stuff that you did see. But for me, I saw the progress slowly but surely. Seems like it is. He won't be able to crutch on this extended rookie season, which it's felt like he's kind of had a little blanket under this year.
Yeah.
So he'll really, the crutch will be out from under him. He'll have to show up. He'll have to start being a leader too, because that's what quarterbacks are meant to do. You are that guy for the team. And now that he's played 2 pretty much half seasons, this upcoming year it will be a test. And Kev, you give him 8 games. I give him 4. I think we'll know by the first 4 games out of the chute. We'll see it. We'll see it out of the gun because he's got to really just make it happen. Because if we come out and the first 4 games are terrible, and he's had his preseason and he has everything, that's going to be hard. So he's got to come out guns blazing next year.
Right.
And I hope people just keep backing him up right now.
Sure.
We can't give up on him yet. And I have faith that he is our guy. I get the question all the time, our franchise quarterback. I think he has longevity. I think he has the talent. I think he has the heart. And now he has time to mature in this offseason and grow. And hopefully there'll be some normalcy with football next year, to the point where he can do his thing and he can have fun on the field and he can play lights out, because it's been seen that when he is great, he's really great. So I'm going to hold on to that instead of focusing on the bad.
Yeah. So look, I'll amend my answer. If we go out and we go 1-3 and Drew Lock looks absolutely awful, okay, yeah, then why do we need to wait an extra 4 games? Like, he's had his chance. If you can't go out there and at least look like a solid quarterback, not amazing, but look like, hey man, you've definitely improved, then yeah, why would we wait another 4 games? I don't see that happening though. I think he's going to have some good stints. We're going to lose some games, but especially if we go like on a 3-game win streak, okay, well, maybe we lost the first 2, but now we've won. Is this going the direction we want? And then you got to look at the first full half of the season and say, you know what, here's where we're at. We're now 3-5. We lost the first 2, we won 3, and then we lost some more. It's time to move.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, by the first 4 games, if Drew Lock goes out there and he just looks absolutely terrible, then yeah, okay, dude, time to move on. Like, you had every chance. You don't need to get in mid-season form if your beginning season form is that bad, right? So,
right.
I do want to mention a comment here, and I'm not sure why it didn't pop up in our comments on our side here. Nick, I don't know if he's still watching, but commented on one of the pages we shared this to. What experience do we have to be broadcasters or critics, if you will? Just curious. So good question. And so for those who maybe have not watched us before or don't know what we're all about, we're just fans. We don't claim to be experts by any means. We're just here to give our opinion. And again, our motto here is fans, brews, and Broncos news. The whole reason Orange Weekly was founded is because the co-founder, Jared, and I were stuck down in Florida, stationed there in the military. And we're like, we talk Broncos all the time. Facebook Live is new. Why don't we just do Facebook Live Broncos shows so we can talk about talk with Broncos fans across the world, really. So that's what we're all here for, is to just interact with you guys, which is why we're doing that fan appreciation show next week. It's going to be a good time. So again, we're not experts. We are here to share our thoughts, share our opinions. If you disagree with us, great. We love that dialogue. So Nick, if you are still watching, I know you posted that a while ago. But for everyone else out there, that's who we are and that's what we're about. Okay.
Just people who love football, want to talk about it, love our Broncos, except Matt doesn't love the Broncos, but that's why he's kind of fun to have on here every once in a while.
Weird. Okay, Matt's got a couple weird things. He's Canadian. He is a fan of the Falcons. He loves Patrick Mahomes, and we've somehow got him to turn around and actually somewhat enjoy the Broncos.
Matt likes the Broncos. He doesn't.
Matt likes the Broncos. He doesn't love them. He's got a soft spot for them now.
Right.
You know what?
Maybe it's because he doesn't like cute and orange and blue. I don't know.
Not like me. And
not like Kev.
And David. This is a great question for when we're on the fan show next Tuesday. Is what is because Matt originally, and I don't want to get too far off topic here. Matt originally joined our show to be the protagonist on the post-game podcast, or the pre-game podcast. So now he went from just, hey, I'm going to pick on the Broncos every week to yeah, I like the Broncos. And it's kind of weird. Okay.
Plus, he's got good football knowledge.
He does have very good football knowledge. That's true. So does David. David is very football smart. Let's see. Okay, back to some comments, I guess. Daniel,
I'm gonna get my
do have Kendall Hilton
in the off season.
I might get a Kendall Hilton jersey. Why not?
Okay.
That's kind of like a big part of Broncos history now. It is. Who is the practice squad quarterback that was a real estate or not real estate salesman a month before that ended up starting for the Broncos in the 2020 season? Seriously,
I'll tell you what. If you get that question in trivia, I hope I'm playing against you, because if you say Kendall Hilton,
I'm just gonna say Hilton.
Yeah, if they say Kendall Hilton, I think you're going to get it wrong. So,
I'll just write down 69 like Jared, and that way we're both wrong. And
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Sebastian, how you doing? Drew Lock needs to be our QB, obviously, for 2021. If he continues to struggle, do you do everything you can to get the best quarterback in 2022? So Sebastian here is saying, let's get a veteran as a backup this year, but let's not really focus on too much of a quarterback hunt or spending too much money in quarterback until 2022. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah. I don't know what the draft landscape is going to look like in 2022.
I have no idea.
Nobody knows. And I don't know what the free agent class of 2022 looks like. But certainly I think the approach is for keeping Locke on target for 2021 is the right one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be our guy. We've got to give him a chance. Like we praise him around here. I think we're all kind of on the same page with that. Red Cloud will disagree when we talk about him, but that's okay.
Red Cloud was here for a minute and then he disappeared. I don't know.
But he's got to be. We got to give him a chance. It's not going to be his rookie season. He's got his feet wet, and he had a few great games this year that showed that he obviously has the talent to do it. So,
and like we were saying, this is probably going to be his last chance. Just with the circumstances surrounding the team, everything going on in the front office, this is it for him. So, yeah. you're not going to see him past 2021, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Robert, lay off Nick. So I'm not picking on Nick. I think that's a really great question that Nick had. I hope he's still watching, or if not, he watches some other time. But now you guys get it. Now, guys, I don't think here at Orange Weekly we have ever had breaking news, but Robert has got our back. The Texans just hired Nick Caserio as their new GM. So breaking news, fresh off the presses.
Wow.
We can at least say that we've broke news before. Thanks to Robert. Appreciate it. But there you go.
Well, and I'll tell you, with that being the case, Caserio was really their GM that wasn't Bill Belichick there. So he leaves a big void there. The next man up in that organization is Dave Ziegler, who we have been interviewing for our GM position. Yeah. So it may be an exodus of talent there from the front office of the New England Patriots. We'll just see how that works out for them.
Steve says, I think competition will push Locke to play better and be better. Look, if you're Drew Lock, he doesn't need to listen to our show to know exactly what position he's in. I mean, Drew Lock does listen to our show. I've heard that during the week, during practices in the locker room, they play the post-game podcast, pre-game podcast, so they can hear what we're saying. They're all Orange Weekly fans.
Drew Lock is,
unless you can disprove that, that's what I'm going to go with.
Drew Lock is Team Puffball.
Okay.
Drew Lock is 100%.
Take it easy. Is your whiskey glass empty? You just simmer down there.
You know what? If Drew Lock posts on Twitter, I am Team Puffball.
That's it.
You know what?
My entire life.
Back him up. Get it out of town.
No, at this point, I will. That my life is peaked if that happens. It's all downhill from there, and I'm okay with it.
Oh my gosh! If he says that, I am officiating my own third team so he can join mine.
Whoa. You're saying if Drew Lock posts on our Twitter or whatever, or just posts on Twitter, I'm Team Puffball, you're still gonna be like, nah, I'm gonna convince him to be a different team? Because I would.
Oh yeah,
I
are you kidding me?
Join Team Puffball, but I can admit Team Puffball is better than Team Visor. If that were to happen,
I think a lot of people would be happy to be team wear whatever hat that you want. So I've got a good option for people to join up on a team that they're going to feel comfortable in.
We'll ask Drew Lock on Twitter, Team Puffball or Team Visor. See what he says. But
David's eyes could roll any harder into the back of his head right now. It is hilarious. Like he's gonna it's just all the whites of his eyes completely rolling all the way.
It's like my mom said, they're gonna stick that way.
They're gonna stick that way.
Yeah, that'd be bad. But the reason we got on this weird tangent is Drew Lock knows the position he's in.
And competition makes everybody better.
Exactly.
I completely agree with that. It would make him better, and it should make him better. I mean, but I think he's a guy who wants to be better on his own as well. I think he has that drive in him. I don't think he's going to be complacent and just sit on his laurels right now. And no, that guy wants to play NFL football and be great. So I'm just gonna watch the fire under him get lit this off season, because I think he'll do great.
Yeah. But him, Vic Fangio, everybody, new GM coming to town. So Drew Lock knows that he can't just have a okay-ish season to keep the job. If it's okay-ish and we go 8-8, he's not going to have a job after that. Drew Lock will not be the quarterback if we go 8-8. Sorry, period, at the end.
Well, the Raiders were super happy to end up 8-8 this year.
You want to follow the same standards as the Raiders? I don't know what that's.
I don't. But it's like they acted like they won this Super Bowl because they beat us by a point at the end of the season. It was just like, oh my God, you guys need to simmer down.
Right.
Oh God.
It's fine.
Tim,
let him have it this year, and then let's whoop them next year, and then everybody has the same goal in mind, like another world championship. That's where Denver is going to get back to inevitably. It's going to happen. Whether it's going to happen next year, who knows? Once we have everybody healthy and we have our talent, it absolutely could. I mean, it would have come together more this year if we weren't playing, third string people. These guys got good practice under their cleats, and it's all looking up from here.
You're not allowed to do what ifs in the NFL. It's not a thing. But if I could, I would say, what if Drew Lock could start this season with the 6-game streak that he ended the season on, just in terms of improvement and what he showed he could do better every game? What would the narrative be like at the end of that season? We'll never know, and that's not the hand we were dealt. But
right.
We'll see. Look, I mean, we'll be here talking about it next year. Now, Daniel, this is a good question that I haven't really thought of yet. We've talked about Drew Lock having the first half of the season to prove if he's the guy or not. What about the coaching staff, especially if you're a new GM? Let's say Drew Lock fails. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But let's say Drew Lock fails. We bench him. Do you keep in place Vic Fangio the rest of the season as well? Or do you say, look, halfway the season's lost. We are wiping the slate clean 3/4 of the way through the season?
That's a hard what if. No, that's a hard what if too. And how early would they do that? They said they're sticking with them. That sounds pretty matter of fact, but yeah, if we can't do anything, how long will they keep him around for? Half the season?
Yeah.
Maybe?
And I think it's okay to know when you're going to be letting go of a coach. Sure. It's okay organizationally to make that decision that early into a season, but I don't think unless you lose, the coach loses the locker room and guys just will not play competitively for that coach anymore, there's not a ton of advantages to firing your coach mid-season. Unless you really need that culture change immediately in your locker room, again, internally, if you decide to make that decision, you can do that as early as you want in the season. To me, I just don't support letting a head coach go partway through a season unless they have drastically lost that locker room.
I think Kenny Rogers says it best, that you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them.
Didn't think we were going to get a Kenny Rogers reference tonight, but Ayla always full of surprises. Kevin obviously doesn't know who that is, which should surprise absolutely nobody. But it's
Danger Zone. Sorry.
That's Kenny Lott. Wow. Okay.
Close enough. You guys weren't expecting it though, right?
I hope Nick's watching and just sees that we're tons of fun, and this is why we do it. We do it to talk football, have fun, and get some laughs, some smiles, get some football in. It's not about being experts or being perfect, but
I don't think I've made you laugh.
The game.
I don't think I've made you laugh that hard ever, Ayla. In your rookie year, I think that's the most I've made you laugh.
All right, well, I'm going to stop laughing.
Yeah, you got to
hold up. Time out. Jared can comment, but he can't join the show. We're going to move on. Kenny Loggins, same guy. Same guy.
You might as well go Kenny Powers at that point, Kevin.
Right. You see how all of these people have different last names and different
Because they're different people.
Wait, you mean every Kevin isn't the same Kevin out there?
Oh boy, we're gonna have to have a long conversation after this. So I'm tired just thinking about it.
Look, it is the off season. We're having a lot of fun.
Wait,
There's
pull that back up. Comment of the season right here.
Comment of the
right here.
Comment of the season.
Comment of the season, and I stand by that. Okay.
I don't think he's that bad, guys.
Look into my eyes.
Wow. I looked away and then I looked back and there's David's face.
That's how serious you know I am.
That's how serious. Okay. I think it's time for some closing thoughts around the room. But first off, again, thank you to all of you who have watched us throughout the year. Even you, Jared. Apparently you're a fan tonight, not a part of the crew. Whatever. You do.
Fans are part of the crew, Kev.
Not tonight. Not right now.
Not this fan.
Not
All
this
right.
fan.
All right.
Love you, Jared. I'll even do it. Boop. That just happened.
Butthead.
Seriously though, guys.
Oh, God.
If you're still watching our shenanigans, you must be awesome people because
I love it.
we're just so this is what our fan appreciation episode is going to be next week. Just us
Catch us next
bullshitting.
week.
Just us
Join
bullshitting with
for
you guys.
more of this shenanigans. We said no BS. We had a little BS tonight, you guys.
There was some
Next week we'll just be like fans, bourbon, and all BS.
And all BS. I might change it next week. We'll see.
have to.
We'll see. At least we won't have the banner up that says no BS. Ayla, I heard that your husband got mad at you because you bought a ton of Broncos stuff and you didn't have anything like to do with it. So maybe we could do something with that next week.
Oh, well, my husband doesn't get mad.
Give it away.
Number one. And
roll with it here. Come on.
okay.
You could just
No.
give it away if you wanted
How
to.
about I'm just a crazy Broncos person who hoards tons of stuff. And no, at the beginning of the season, guys, I came up with some swag. I made it happen. And it's unfortunate that we didn't have more winning games. We didn't have anybody predict the score exactly. So we've got lots of stuff to give away, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And it's going to be fun. Who doesn't love prizes, right? Especially when it's Broncos swag. So we've got some cool stuff, and can't wait to show our appreciation that way as well.
This is fun, guys. This is fun. I'm glad you're all here because it wouldn't be fun if you guys weren't watching. And so it's at that moment where I'm like, oh, we're going to actually end the last show of the season. And this is the 5th season and it still stings, you know? So we're not going away. Like I said, we'll have a ton of content for all of you guys throughout the off season. So make sure you're following our page, our direct Facebook page. If you haven't done so already, wherever you're watching this, go to Orange Weekly, hit that like button for us. And we'll be having some fun during the off season as well. Hopefully make it go by a little quicker.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robert, no, we're not going anywhere. It's going to be a little less, but we're still going to be here. We got to take a break too. You know, we need an off season to some degree. Man, closing thoughts, David. We'll start with you, man.
Man alive. What another season it's been, Broncos country. Orange Weekly fandom. Thanks for being here. Especially those of you who hated us, because honestly, the ones who hated us and came on to tell us, you know, spend their perfectly valid time telling us that they hate us. That's the biggest compliment of all. Which is not to denigrate the rest of you who come on and tell you that you love us. I love you a lot more than the other people. I don't know. I think his name was Bear Dan, which, like I'll bet you anything, Bear. That's not on your birth certificate. Anyway, it's just a real privilege to come on and talk Broncos with everybody. Yeah, there it is.
It's probably it's probably Bear Daniel. So
right, exactly, Bear Daniel, which just doesn't sound that cool. Sorry.
It's like Kev Dan. You got to do Bear Dan.
Right. Kevin Dan doesn't sound that great.
Are you comparing me to Bear Dan?
Okay, we all know that's like John Elway's 7th burner account. So it's the ultimate compliment, really.
It's the ultimate.
Absolutely.
Who are you guys sucking like no. Sorry to interrupt you.
Anyway, what a privilege to go through another season. It's a total possibility, Glenn. With everybody here at Orange Weekly, and the fan base is only growing and or shrinking at a commensurate rate. So we're going to have you guys back next year. It's going to be even more fun. We're going to have hopefully better stuff to bring you next year. We'll talk about that as the off season goes along. But still, really, really cool to have you guys. Ayla, take it away.
Well, I will just start with a gratitude since I was new guy on the show this year. I have had so much fun, and Broncos Country is the best. This Orange Weekly crew is tons of fun. I get to, sit around and shoot the shit about football, which I love. And it was a tough season. This was the weirdest year that I could have jumped on to do something like this, but it made this terrible season way better being here. The fans are awesome. It wouldn't be a show without fans. We'd just be sitting here talking to ourselves. So
which we do all the time anyway.
Right. But at least for a few hours every week, we get to include other people in our shenanigans. So tons of gratitude. Yeah, it wasn't the best season in the whole world, but that still would never deter me from cheering for the Broncos every single week. Lots to look forward to next year. And the way I see it, we can only go up from here, and I think it'll be great. So looking forward to this off season, looking forward to some fun, and then, putting our head down and getting it done, get her done next year. So thanks guys for having me a part of your crew, because I love it and I'm super grateful.
Well, so for everybody, again, another reason to join us next week on the Fan Appreciation episode. Ayla will be relinquishing her title of the rookie, the new guy on the show, if you will, because we have another addition to Orange Weekly, the Orange Weekly crew. So make sure it's a surprise. You have to wait and find it. That's the cliffhanger we're going to leave you all on. In addition to prizes and stuff that you guys actually care about.
We've teased this very well.
I've never had to tease anything before like that. So, watch our show because of surprises and things.
Let's wrap it up.
No, Robert, it's not you. That's something we could talk about later, but for now, it's not you. You did help us break news for the first time ever. I appreciate that. John is a longtime supporter as well. Red Cloud, tons of people here that we just recognize your names. Daniel, you're another one. We recognize your names every single week. Bob's been here a while. He says no. Kevin, Ayla, David. Hi. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Hi.
Oh, Glenn, you're no fun.
Hey, they didn't razz me at all this year. I burned myself harder than anybody else would burn me. True. It just was like,
We'll have to share that. There might be a story next week in which there were some confessions from Ayla to Jared and I, and then Jared and I to Ayla about being too hard on ourselves or worrying too much. So that might be a story for next week as well. It's pretty awesome. You guys already said it.
We'll do what we always do, and we'll see them next week.
Hold on. I need to say it one more time. Thanks to all our fans, everybody, the 20 people who are still watching us. You're all fantastic. But really, the part I want to get to is Daniel said any playoff shows just for the hell of it. No, we're not going to do that unless next year when the Broncos are in the playoffs. Knock on wood. We will be doing playoff shows. It'll be the first ever time that we have to do that. Not have to, but we'll do that. But no, so we'll do next week's fan appreciation episode, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, normal Tuesday time. We usually do an episode the week after the Super Bowl. We'll also do a post-season podcast. So make sure you follow us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. And then we'll be doing about a once-a-month trivia show. We'll be doing stuff around the time of free agency, pre, during, and post. the combine, the draft. So we'll be here throughout the season or the off season. If you guys are sick of us, then we're not going away anytime soon. Just not as frequent. So anyway, thanks to everyone, David and Ayla, especially you guys, and a huge thank you from me to all of the Orange Weekly crew. I couldn't do this. This would be nothing. This would be me talking with nobody around me, which would be pretty boring, and we won't have any fans for that. So seriously,
well, and thanks, Kev, for holding it all together. You're it, man. This is why we do it. Kev Dan's man. We thank you, dude. It's awesome. 100%.
100%.
It wouldn't have started without Jared too. So seriously, I appreciate
well,
you
I would
guys.
think him, but he's not here right now.
His baby's more important or something like that.
Well, it is.
Now, if he's
adorable, don't you diss that baby? I love her.
She, I'm glad his baby got his wife's looks. We'll just say that. Anyway,
and cute.
It is that time for us to end it as we normally do. We will see you next Tuesday. Thanks to the Orange Weekly crew. More importantly, thanks to the fans. You are all fantastic. And we are going to continue this 5 years in. Who knows where we're going to be in 5 years? It's going to be fantastic. So
I'll be old.
I'm already old. So David's just not going to say anything.
No.
David's the same age as me, so he's also old. So we are going to end it, as always, end of season 5 with a very strong
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. Take care, everyone.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, if it's right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.